How could you forget someone like Nick Valentine? I don't think it's possible. That trench coat, his voice, his sarcastic sense of humor, his commitment to the citizens of the Commonwealth, who he very much wants to protect, and of course, how cool he is. I mean, loose tie, cigarette smoke sliding around the rim of his fedora. He's a cool dude. It's very hard to forget someone like this. Thing is, what if the problem isn't so much you forgetting him, but him forgetting you? After all the time you've spent together, all the quests you've done together, the enemies you've killed together, the free drinks you've gotten together, because Nick will go up to the bartender and say, beep, 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 get me and my friend your very best bourbon, or I'm going to blow up this entire bar. What if he was to forget all of this? Well, unfortunately, that might just be possible. So today, I'm going to list a few ideas as to will Nick Valentine forget about us or not. So, starting off with first things first, who even said this was a possibility, this cruel thing? Unfortunately, no, it wasn't just an emotional girl on Reddit trying to protect the sacred love between her and her virtual husband. It was brought up by Nick's brother himself, Dima. If you bring Nick with you to Acadia and the two brothers meet again, they talk about this. Dima even says, quote, "There's only so much memory that can fit into the prototype brains we have," end quote. So, the idea of Nick not being able to hold on to every memory, maybe even having to forget some, was confirmed by another major character in the game. So, how does this work then? If Nick's brain can only hold on to so much memory, why does that mean he has to forget about you? Couldn't he prioritize the time he spent with you and just, dump all the other sort of meaningless stuff? Well, I think the best way to imagine it is like a computer. Your computer only has so much storage. When it reaches its maximum, you've got two options. You could just keep what you've already got and not add any more to it, or you can delete some old stuff to then make room for the new stuff. So it seems that Nick's brain is very similar to this. Problem is, he doesn't have the power to decide what he keeps and what he doesn't keep, right? He's constantly living, experiencing things and making memories whether he wants to or not. So in this case, he's like the computer who's deleting old stuff to make room for the new stuff. He doesn't have a choice. So with this pattern continuing, eventually he'll reach a point where he has to dump all the memories he's had with you to make room for the new stuff that's happening in his life. And this would probably be long after you're gone, I think. So at least there's some solace in that during your lifetime it is possible he'll remember everything you two have done. However, 10, 100 years after that, we can't really be sure. All of this really depends on how fast Nick reaches that maximum storage that I was saying. Obviously, if he had some massive hard drive, some awesome souped out thing, this wouldn't really be much of a worry, but what is worrisome is that there are signs that he's already reached that point. First, he doesn't seem to remember escaping the Institute with Dima. These are some of the very first memories he had after being turned into Nick Valentine, so if his brain has reached its limit, it's going straight to the very first ones to get rid of. Second, when you begin the Far Harbor DLC and you visit Kenji Nakano, he makes a pretty big deal about how he already knows Nick. They've already worked together on a different case, and this was only a few years ago. But Nick has a really hard time remembering this. So again, if his brain has, say, reached its limit, maybe it doesn't have to go to the very first memories and delete those, but it'll just delete whatever it has to at random, regardless of how recently it happened, to then make room for the new ones. So, essentially, the idea here is this. Nick has already reached his limit, and he's now in the process of deleting old memories. If nothing is changed about this, not only will he eventually forget who you are, but forget all of the things he's previously done in the Commonwealth. Wow, that really stings. That's like drinking battery acid. I mean, it might not affect Nick, but it is going to kill us. There has to be something we can do, right? We have technology. We have big computers that flash with green and red lights. We don't know the science behind it, but we know that somehow we have to increase Nick's storage. So, how do we do it? Well, Dima's already figured it out. The reason he looks different from Nick is because he has all of these upgrades. He's been improving himself, and the computers around him store even more memories. So, if he ever has to remember something, he can hook himself up to that specific file, right? Plug goes under the armpit. Oh, that's what I had for breakfast 22 years ago. And I still don't miss oatmeal to this day. We have to do the same thing for Nick. He has to have his own database where he can store all of his experiences. It's just like having an external hard drive for your computer. You plug it in whenever you need that extra memory. Now, okay, that's a pretty good fix. It's still kind of annoying, though. I mean, Nick would have to plug himself into a computer every time he wants to, remember all the fun times you two had together. Luckily, we have an even better option, and that is Turn him into a Gen 3 synth. It has to be possible. Institute scientists can take the memories of real living humans and put them into a Gen 3, and that certainly seems harder than what we're trying to do here. So if you sided with the Institute, you could have Nick's memories transferred into a Gen 3 brain that's just like our own, almost, and can remember a lot more. Oh, wait. Oh, crap. What if you destroyed the Institute? Did you just effectively destroy Nick as well? Well, not necessarily. Think of Curie. Her memories were put into a Gen 3 with the help of Dr. Amari. Thing is, now you would need someone who's gone brain dead. And it would have to be a totally different body. Still a Gen 3, but they've gone brain dead. So you could do it and have Nick keep his personality, his memories, everything, but he would just look like whoever's body you put him in. I mean, okay, that's not that bad. It could be worse. He wouldn't look as beautiful, but it's all right. So the idea here is this. It is possible to have Nick remember you, but it'll be up to you to decide how that happens. You could upgrade him with additional hard drives that he has to then tap into. You could have the Institute upgrade him into a Gen 3 synth, about bloody time. Or you could have Dr. Amari put all of his memories into an entirely new body. The choice is yours. Well, and Nick's. I mean, you two should talk about it, go over it. I mean, he's the one who has to get poked and prodded, long metal poles going up into unfamiliar places, and there you are, laughing in the corner. And he'll never forget this moment or that feeling, because today he is a new man with a new brain. Yay! So, there you have it. Will Nick forget about you? Well, if you don't change his current condition, yeah, he almost certainly will. However, if you do, you have a few options as to what he might enjoy more. You could hook him up to a big computer or turn him into a Generation 3 synth. Me, I would go with the latter. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And down below, please tell me, what would you do to preserve Nick's memory? All right. Thank you very much for watching. And, well, I don't mean to get weird here, but, like, have you ever considered becoming a synth yourself? Because, like, Nick's voice with your face, that would be really sexy.